Hello, hello. This is Raquel with Paints and Glitter. If you are just tuning in or re-watching this video later on, I welcome you to my channel. I just wanted to come along and share a couple of projects that I've been working on and just say hello to crafty friends, of course, who may join me. I'm not going to be here for very long, but I figured I should give a little bit of an update because I have been MIA, not intentionally, just been busy doing life in general. But I don't want to neglect, of course, my YouTube channel or YouTube friends, and I wanted to come along and share some crafty goodies that I've been receiving, of course, because I don't stop crafting or obtaining crafty goodies. That's just, it's not going to happen anytime soon. But I wanted to complete this card here that I've been making and maybe share another little project. I'm going to see how this goes. I'm hoping that some people come in and say hello, of course, as I always say. I'm going to grab a quick piece of cardstock for this card that I'm finishing up, and here it is, just a 110-pound cardstock. I am going to share what this is in just a moment. I did make a previous video, oops, this isn't it, but then decided to do it again. Be right back. Okay. Just grabbing a base for this card at the moment. And if you're joining me, please say hello so that way I don't ignore you or don't know who you are. I'm just putting a card base here. This one says, let's see here, this is about 5 3/4 inches tall. So I'm just going to cut this down to that size by 4.5. Mm, 5 3/4. I'm going to do it like this. There we go. And then I'm going to score this at 4.5. I'm just doing a little bit of crafting here, and if anyone joins me, then I'll start showing product and all that jazz, because I don't like to have to repeat too much of what I'm doing. You can see my desk is full of crafty items. I've been having a ton of fun playing with some different products, new to me, and also just items that I am familiar with, of course, such as inking and coloring and all that good stuff. Now this here is going to be a card for a sweet friend, and I had started it quite a while ago, actually. Sadly, I just had not put it onto a base. But I did make this with a beautiful stamp that I will share from Fun Crafter's Journey. I believe that's the name of the brand, by I'm at a loss for words, but I will find it in 2 seconds. Here, okay. So there's the base of my card. And then I'm going to add also another panel to the back just to finish it, make it look nice and pretty. And hello, hello, thank you for joining me. I'm just doing some live crafting here. This is the stamp set that I've used on this card. It is called Color Cross. And yes, I did color in that cross. That's the stamp set there from Fun Stamper's Journey, which is a brand of Spellbinders. So I had made several projects using these cards. I colored them in and I added diamond dots. That's what it looks like there. And I'm just sharing it again because I didn't share the video that I had made with that. But I decided to go ahead and do it over again. So I think I'm just going to add this on the inside here. And then I can make my panel on which I will write. And this will just help me have a bit more finished look on my card. It's also a great way to use up any leftover pieces of cardstock. This stamp set I was able to acquire thanks to Elizabeth, who is Beauty Bomb Bomb Elizabeth here on YouTube. She was quite generous to hold a giveaway for those who participated in celebrating her time here on YouTube. I entered along with many other ladies and was fortunate enough to win a gift card. And that was what I purchased with the gift card, was that stamp set that I just shared. And I was quite happy to be able to have a faith-based stamp that I can use for many occasions to share with friends and family. So that's going to be the inside for now until I add my sentiment. But that's the finished card there in this purple. I love the colors on that, and I did use several different mediums to make that. Then I also made, with the same stamp set, this home decor piece here, which it does have the, I did add the twine to hang it, and then I just hand wrote the part of a verse of a song there with the cross. I still have another one here that I can add to a project, but it doesn't fit on this one here. What I've done is that I made another one in blue, and that's what this one looks like. And it also has roses for the background there that I did heat emboss onto vellum. So it's got quite a bit of texture and even sound when you touch it. And then it has this macrame piece there, which is an Elizabeth Craft design die. That's what that one looks like. And then aside from that, I've also been playing around with some inks that I got recently. Let me set this one aside. I've been playing with some archival inks and also making some flowers, which are tulips, with some Heartfelt Creations stamps and dies that I've received. This is what the tulip time stamp looks like. And then of course you can get the matching die and also the mold, 3D mold. So I did pick that collection up recently from Helen. She is Helen Scrap here on YouTube, and she's a phenomenal crafter for Heartfelt Creations. I love everything that she makes. She's so super creative and fun. Her channel is in French, but it's easy to follow, and she's just a phenomenal lady. So to support her on Etsy, I did go ahead and pick that up, and this is what I've made so far with that tulip collection. I thought it was so much fun to play with. I actually used here a bunch of different colors of archival inks that are here on my table. I just went ahead and made a combination of them, and then I also used a stencil from Tim Holtz that looks like this. And this stencil is just a honeycomb shape, something that I really love to use because I'm a lover of bees. And then that's what I came up with. And in fact, I was going to add a little bee here, which I'm going to add, I guess now. I'll go ahead and do that because I did want to finish that. And I will continue crafting here. So no one else has joined me as of yet, but that will not stop me from crafting, because I love to craft. So here I've got some Tonic Studios dies that I just received. This is another thing that I was going to share. And I was going to wait to see if other people join me, but I'm going to just go ahead and share it in case someone rewatches the video. And here it is. This is a country jug die set. I thought this was absolutely fabulous. It is available from Tonic Studios right now. You should be able to find the link to TonicStudios.com on the description box of this video. And the bundle came with the die set here, the stamps. As you can see, I've not even used them yet. That's what those look like. And then a paper bundle, which is from the Blue Blossom collection. Super pretty. So I wanted to use the bee that is in this collection to complete this. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that and cut it out. I'm going to open this up using some Tonic scissors that I have here. You can also pick these up from their website. They happen to be the left-handed kind. If you're just joining me, feel free to just say hello. I've been on here just for a little bit, and I'm hoping to complete this little project and then maybe even make some more flowers. But I'll zoom in also so you can see what I've made here. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to share what it is that I'm doing here. This is so, so cute. Okay, so again, I'm just going to grab the bee from this collection. And I like that because it also came with so many little flowers. And I'm kind of on a flower kick at the moment. I'm just going to grab some heavy cardstock that I have here in white. And then after I cut this out, I can color it, of course. And I'll probably cut it out twice. I'm going to see how it looks. I'm going to move these off my surface so I have a little bit more room. There we go. So there's the bee. I'm just going to cut it out again. Okay, so I'd love to combine old and new, anything new that I receive with anything that I already own. Just helps to make projects your own to do that. Okay, so there's that. Got my little bee. I'm going to put him back. And now I can color this with any color that I like. I'm going to take my little sponge dauber here in this darker color. And I'm just going to be using archival ink. That is what I used on the background here as well. And I'm going to grab, I think, yep, this is watering can, which is just a dark gray. Just here and there. It doesn't have to be too specific. Just on the edges. This is going to just help it pop against the background. And then I will grab sunflower. It's not quite yellow, but it's a pretty color. Almost between yellow and orange there. And I'm just inking the very center. Okay. And now I can just layer these for dimension. Just taking out the little bits in the middle there from the wings. Can add a drop of adhesive on just on the body first. And that way I can layer this and have the wings pop out. And now I can add my little bee. I think down here would look kind of cute. So I'm just going to add a little more glue there to the body and not the wings. And he's just going to be right about, I think I want to put him right around there, like so. And I think that's super adorable. There's also a little bird down here that I had made, and I did share that in a separate video where I got the mold from Carolyn, who's Tea Time and Dolls, here on YouTube, and also has a Tea Time and Doll boutique on Instagram. So she sells the little molds, and I made that little bird with clay and just colored him in. So again, those are the Heartfelt Creation Tulips. This little branch over here that I also inked and colored came from the Sizzix die set by Lisa Jones, and this is called Wild Blooms #1. Looks like that. So I just grabbed a leaf from there, and that's what I was able to use just to add a little trellis back there. And again, all of those inks are from Archival Inks by, I don't think I mentioned they're from Wendy Vecchi. So I love the results of that. And now I think I want to go ahead and make another flower. Maybe more than one. We'll see how that goes. Got a little bit of time here to craft. I want to take advantage of it. See if I can combine it with some other dyes that I've picked up. I decided that I would use beading wire to make these flowers just because my floral wire is MIA at the moment, and this is the same thickness. And here I've already stamped, colored, and cut and molded a bunch of these little tulips. And now it's just a matter of assembling them. So I'm going to get my little foam pad here. It's going to come in handy. I'm going to get my pokey tool. And some of these I've added shine to by using metallic watercolors, and others I just left as they are. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Hopefully that's helpful. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. And I'm just going to grab, you can use the same size petals, or you can graduate the sizes if you like. I like to kind of play it by ear and use the wire with some little pistils. And then for these, you can select whichever ones you are more comfortable with, whether you like the pearlescent kind. I have some here that are pearlescent, and they're quite large, as you can see there. So if you're going to use something larger like that, depending on the size of the flower, you may only use one. Or if you have some smaller ones, these are almost like a medium size. I can use these as well, and these are darker. Or these that have no color, I can grab quite a few of these and actually color them, before I forget, to add a little pop of color to the center of that flower. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And because the leaves are green, I'm just going to add a little bit of green to Oopsie, these little pistils, they kind of tend to fly away, but I can just add that ink with the same little dauber, just like that. And I'll give it a nice little color in the center. And right in the middle, I will just use my wire to loop it. That way I can fold these in half. And I've got my smaller one. Just want to make sure this is right in half. I'm going to get inky fingers, but that's okay. So long as they don't fly away, I'm okay. So it's a little bit fiddly, but once you have them through the first set of petals, I think it's easier. What you have to be mindful, however, of is that you don't rip the paper. It is very easy to rip the paper with this, in case you've never made flowers before. Okay. But if you do, as I just did there, I'll just be able to fix that with hot glue. Just going to feed this through the second one. And again, I'm just pulling that wire. And then I'll do the third. Like so. And this isn't something that I rush because, again, it's very delicate. I did use, by the way, watercolor paper for this particular flower, as well as just colored cardstock, and then I just changed the color quite a bit there with some different inks and paints. I don't know if I mentioned that before. But of course you can make the flower in any style you like, even though it is called a tulip. Depending on the look you're going for, you can switch it around. And now, once you have it situated, and what I'm going to do is pull these little pistils up a little bit more, because they don't have to be all the way to the bottom. Let's pull them up a little bit. Let them kind of hang out there. Okay, so once I have them where I think they should be located, now I can apply the hot glue, but I want to make sure that I alternate the petals. So I'm going to try to place them as I like them before I start gluing, just like that. And now I can add my hot glue on the bottommost petals there. At least that's how I like to do it. Start cupping the flower. And it's going to want to shift around, but you hold it as tight as you like. And the little strings are going to be the hardest part of this, but I'm going to open it a tiny bit more and add more hot glue in the center there, and just try to quickly shape this again and then press it closed. Then once I hold it for 2 seconds, it's going to be nicely adhered. And then I can, of course, remove that wire, or I can leave it, depending on what I want to do with this flower. Just like that. I can actually add a little bit more glue, but I kind of like it open as well. It's kind of tempting to leave it open, but I'm going to add just a little bit more adhesive here. Then I'll show a close-up as I always do. Just going to hold that taut. There's quite a bit of body to this because of the type of paper that I've used. I was experimenting around with different types of papers and different types of inks. To me, that's the fun part, of course. The painting, whether it be on paper or anywhere else. So that's where the finished flower, or at least the bud, looks like. You can see there's no adhesive or glue leaking out anywhere or anything like that. And then, yes, I did use the pearlescent ink on the inside, so it gives it a little bit of shine there, which I think looks so pretty. Then with the same die set, stamp and die set, I should say, you have two different options of these stems here, as well as, of course, it comes with the little leaves, and that's what makes it the tulip shape. So inherently, with a bigger flower or bud, I want to use that bigger base there, the larger one. What I did was that I used a brown ink on paper that had, of course, the green background, just to make it easier for myself. And I did use two different colors of green. One of them is a little bit brighter than the other. For this, I'm pretty sure I used oxide inks. In fact, I think I like this brighter one for this particular flower. And now what I can do is poke a little hole on the top base there, right in the center, just big enough to feed my little wire with the pistils of this flower. And I want to be very gentle here because that base is not very big. And try to feed that through. If I can't, then I'll just cut it down. Okay, so I managed to get 3 out of 4 on there. So what I'll do is I'll just adhere these on the back, and the rest will just be hanging out there in the front, which is fine because I'm going to couple this with other flowers. So if it's not absolutely perfect, I'm not going to mind that whatsoever. I'm just going to now apply adhesive at the base in the front and press that down. You want to be mindful not to hurt yourself, of course, with that hot glue. And then on the back, I can also apply a string there of adhesive so that my little threads there don't show on the front. And if you want the body to the flower, of course you can leave that wire on there. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but I will show you in just a second. This wire is quite malleable too, so I think it makes it easier. So that way if I go to shape it on another project, I can definitely do that. So I'm just going to cut off the excess now. I can still use those little wires too. And that's what the back looks like, in case you're interested in that. And then the front looks like so. I've got my little flower there with quite a bit of dimension. And then if you want to add glitter, as I did to the other ones, you can definitely do that as well. What I did with these is that I added art glitter glue just to the edges and then dipped them into glitter glass from Rene Bouquets just to add that pop of shine. And as you can tell in the center, the pistils are not all the same. I actually used different ones, and I even used beads in the center of 2 of those flowers. So you don't have to assemble it the way that I did here. If you just want to add adhesive to the petals and form them, and then at the end add a little bead, you can do that as well. That's just a different alternative to this if you don't like to fiddle with them too much. So I'm going to go ahead and make another one. And of course you can use, as I had said before, different types of ink. You don't have to use all the same. I just was having a bit of fun. And of course I ask, if this video is helpful to you, please leave a thumbs up. Even if you don't leave a comment, that's okay. I think I'm going to, oh, I have these other pistils here. They actually already come in a grouping, and they have silver tips. So this would be fun because it's already tied up. Oh, and the, I also have floral wire, so if I wanted to leave this with just green, I could definitely tie it up with floral wire. I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry, floral tape. Okay, this is quite full. So I think if I'm going to use this one, I need to make a large flower also. So let me see if I have enough of these larger petals. Kind of want to use a fuller one here. I'm going to try to do that. Okay. So now again, I'm going to feed this through the smallest one. And if the floral tape starts coming off, you can always cut these down a little bit. There we go. It's got one there. And this might be a bit big for this, but yeah, I think it pokes out too much. I don't think this is going to be appropriate for this flower. I will use it for a different, I have some roses to make, so that's going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and just use these dark ones that I have here, since I've got bunches, loads of these. I'll use this instead. And again, grab my little wire. Actually, I'll use this shorter one. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments section. I know that I'm having a lot of people come in and out today. It's understandable. It's Friday. Not everybody's watching this kind of crafty video. But if you do have any questions, I'm happy to respond. Okay, so I've fed it through the first petal there. You can see that grouping. I could even leave it just as that, and that would be absolutely adorable. Maybe add a little bit of shine to the petals of that flower. That would not be bad looking at all, but I'm going to try to continue on here adding more. I really like full flowers. It's just a preference of mine. Okay, so that's the second grouping there of petals. These don't have any shine, but I think they're equally as beautiful as the shiny ones. Grouping number 3 are here. Just like that. And these were made with just 65-pound weight cardstock. And then the last grouping of petals is right here. Just feeding it through again, the same way I fed the others. And now that I've got everybody in there, now I can add my adhesive to keep the petals in place. And that's not a set rule, it's just something that, you know, you can do to shape your flower. Add my glue. Shape my flower there. Starts looking a little bit better when it's nicely shaped. Then I'll stagger the next step there. And of course I aim that glue right to the center of that flower so that it's not seeping out. And before it dries completely, I will move the next set of petals. And repeat the process. A nice little hug there. And I think that's adorable. I like the dark center to that flower. I actually think that looks really pretty. Okay, removing cobwebs, of course. And now I can grab one of these smaller ones. Actually, no, this is a large flower, so I'll grab one of these with the more brown ink because it's a bit more muted. And as I had mentioned before, just poke that hole there and try to feed this through. And that one went through completely, so that was super easy. And now I will only add adhesive this time to the back. Maybe. But here we are. I'm gonna add a little bit of glue there just to get all that settled down. Push it down. It helps to have the long fingernails. Just press on it. And there's the second flower there. Looks like so. So here's my first one. So they do come together quite easily when you're not filming a video and you're not on YouTube. You can move faster and just keep grouping them as you like. You can definitely change the colors up as I had done with this one. Here I used some more yellow and the pink. I also used a bit of rose ink on the edges there of that flower. So depending on what you like, if you're going for a more antique look, you don't have to use the shine. Or if you like glitz, then you can introduce the glitter as I had done in that other project, or just shiny pearlescent watercolors I did with the petals there. It's really a matter of preference, but I think they're absolutely adorable. I think I'm going to try to do a small one now, even though I'm being tempted to make the large ones, but just for the sake of using these petals, I'm going to make a smaller one. And I think I'm going to group these two together. And maybe these two like that. So these are going to be a little bit simpler. However, I'm going to use one of these. And I've got several different types of pistils here, but I also have some that almost look like little berries in the center. And these are matte, whereas these are, again, the pearlescent ones. So those are different options, as I had mentioned before. Depends on the look you're going for, so I can definitely do one of each. I don't need a very long wire, as I had mentioned, which is why I enjoy the jewelry wire, because then I can cut it to the length I like. And because this is just such a delicate small flower, I'm only going to use one. Poke my little hole here. Got one in. Now I'll do the second one. And on these, you don't want to add a terrible amount of glue because of the fact that you don't have a lot of surface area to hide that glue. So what you can do is add the adhesive to the sides of the actual petals there instead. I'm just going to stagger those. I'm going to add my glue as I've done before. Just to drop, and then I'm going to pull on that flower to shape it. Just trying to hold its shape, and of course it's going to overlap, but that's precisely what you want. You want overlapping petals. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to add a little drop more here just to help it stay. And again, I had used watercolor paper, which is quite substantial to make some of these. So that's why I'm adding the amount of pressure that I am, because this paper is a lot thicker than regular, say, scrapbooking paper or cardstock. But I wanted to be very liberal with the amount of ink that I was using, the watercolors. And that's why I went with that type of paper, and I'm quite happy with it. I'm going to add the pistils to the second one in the same fashion. In this case, this is just regular cardstock, and this second one is watercolor paper. Grab a little piece of my wire. I appreciate the person who gave me the thumbs up. Oh goodness. I'm so sorry, Joanna. I did not see your chat, so I apologize. If you are still here with me, I'm so very sorry, sweetheart. My chat was not working. You had 8 crafty goodie parcels. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, I guess it's a good time to shop right now. There are so many wonderful sales. So again, my apologies to Joanna, who was here. I don't know if you're still here with me or if you stepped out. If you revisit the video, I just want to say a huge I am sorry, because my chat was not working there. I guess I needed to refresh my video and I didn't realize that. And I've been here for over 30 minutes. Probably an hour, I don't know. So I just wanted to let you know I was not ignoring you, sweetheart. Okay. All right. So again, that's my second grouping, and this one is absolutely adorable because Again, I only use one of these pistils, and it has, of course, two ends to it. So folded in half, it has the two little pearls there. So if you're going for a shiny center, you don't need to add a lot, but you can definitely have that beautiful impact of shine by using one of the larger ones on a smaller flower. And I hope that makes sense. I feel so terrible right now, Joanna. I don't think Joanna's still here. She may have left, and I don't blame her because I didn't even see her chat. I don't know what's going on with my phone, but lately it's been a challenge to make these videos because I'm seeing even YouTube, I don't know, YouTube, I don't know if they're going through some changes, as always, but I had trouble even finding my own account this morning. I don't know what's going on, but okay. There's that. This one's not as staggered as the other one, but that's okay. And now these two are going to find their little homes, as I would say. And I apologize, I've got glue strings everywhere. Woo! Okay. So that's why you see me pulling my hands away. If I look like I'm crafting in an erratic manner, it's not my intention, it's just the glue strings. So this paper that I used here is scrapbooking paper. It happened to have glitter and swirls in it and everything, so I thought that was really pretty. A little bit of shine there in the background. So of course, if you're thinking about making your own papers for these, you can definitely add embossing. No reason you can't. And by embossing, I mean heat embossing with shiny embossing powders. So I'm just going to add my little string of glue there. And that wire really helps because then I can pull on that, make sure it's nice and straight, let it dry, and actually, whoopsie, I ripped my paper, so there's, got to remember to be gentle with these. Just going to add my glue there so my paper doesn't go flying off. So this little flower is going to be facing forward, but there's that. And then I'm going to make another one for another base. I'm going to exit out of here and come back and see if first, okay. Nope, I think I lost Joanna. I'm going to try to see if I find Joanna's email so I can send her an apology. Feels so good. Okay. Okay, so there's that. And I'm gonna, again, add my little line of hot glue there. You kind of have to be brazen when you're making these types of projects, I think. Because if you have that fear of hot glue, you might not be too comfortable, but there's that one. Okay, but I think practice makes perfect when it comes to these things too. For some reason that hot glue doesn't, you know, well, it dries almost immediately, so it doesn't stay very, very hot for long. So that helps. Okay, so now I've got a group of 4 here. And what I had done with the other ones is that I didn't add stems to every single one. So I'm fine with having stems just on those and then forming flowers without any stems. So let's just do these 2 together with another pearl. I kind of like that. I think I was only going to use one. Let me make sure I focus. wider. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to make the little holes in the center as I've done before. 1 and 2. Keeping it simple. Feeding this through again. One, two, just like that. And this one's much shinier than the other ones. That, by the way, is what I had mentioned before, that pearlescent ink, which was actually watercolor. So absolutely pretty. And then just going to squeeze that together. And it doesn't have to be completely closed. Okay. So this one I'm going to leave with no base on purpose. And I'll make one more like that. Let's see here. I think I want to do the dark ones now. Just to have contrast. Okay, fit it through both of those. And I'm going to stagger this one. Now, because this is so so much wider than the smaller ones, another thing to bear in mind is that the larger the center of the pistils are, the more room they're going to take up in the center of your flower. So if you have thin ones like this, the good thing is you can add more, you can spread them out, whatever you like, but you may want to bear in mind that they're not going to occupy the same amount of space in the center of your flower. So that may determine whether or not you want to close those petals a little bit more, or do you want to add an extra smaller one in the center. That's really up to you, but I figured that should be something to keep in mind. Another thing that I did was that I actually added Nuvo drops to the center just to add a pop of color in the middle of the flowers as well, which it's not very visible in video, but of course in person you'd be able to see it. So I'm just going to add my little dollop of adhesive here. And if you're just coming in, please say hello, and I apologize that I did not respond before. I did not see my chat. My phone was not allowing me to see my chat. I don't know why. So I didn't respond to Joanna earlier because of that, but I'm now, hopefully, I'm kind of going in and out there to see, just to make sure if anyone comes in to say hello, that I don't ignore you, all right? But these have come together, I think, quite nicely. Need to pull them out a little bit more. And once you have all of these petals colored and everything done, there's quite a sense of satisfaction when you put them together, because they do come together quite easily, in my opinion. All right, and then if there's any part that you don't find too appealing, just make sure that that faces the background of your project, whatever card you're making or anything like that. What I thought to do is that I would like to make one of these watering cans. And if you're just joining me, hello again and welcome. So I had mentioned previously this country jug die set. So this is where I want to use this. I've already used the bee on the other project, but I want to cut out this jug out of pretty cardstock. And you can make this have a background, a solid background, and you can also just use the one piece there. So I'm going to cut out the background, and then I'm going to cut out this the topper there. Use that. This will be for my background, like so. And then I want to use this absolutely stunning paper. I hoard the papers that I like. No different than anyone else. But I'm going to use this one here. It's been in my stash, and I have, like, I think I got three of these paper pads when I first got them, because I thought it was so pretty. I believe this is from, pretty sure it's My Mind's Eye, but I want to use that. And I'm going to start there. If I need to do more cutting, I will. In fact, I think, well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to put this one here. And cut it down so I can fit the other one. This one can fit right there. Actually, So there's my little country jug. I think it's absolutely adorable. Love the shape of that. Then this is the background. And of course, because it has the handle like this, I think I want to cut out that centerpiece and or the handle, which you can do. Group these together. And that's what this little piece would be for. So what I'll do is line up my pieces before adhering them, and then just put my little die right there, just like so. Then I can remove this. And run that through. Now, I'm trying to think here that I also want to use this to cut out some of these tools. I think they're so adorable. Or maybe, let me see here. Maybe just the wispy little plants here. There we go. Okay, there's that. The layer. And the little plants that I can use as a background pieces here. If these didn't cut perfectly, which I actually think they did. Now this is 110-pound cardstock, so it can take more than one run when you use multiples at once. And by multiples, I mean multiple dies through the machine. So I might have to run those again. And this is where this little one comes in handy. I actually have some watercolor paper here too, so. Cut these again. Make it a little bit easier on myself. Okay. And quite intricate, but they pop out very easily. So there's that. Got this one. Can run this one also again. There's that. think I want to use this one as well. These are just little delicate features you can add to that jar, which I think is absolutely adorable. Cut it twice. There we go. Don't know if this is, yep, this one came out almost in its entirety, so you can always use little pieces of it if the whole thing doesn't come out at once. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so now I've got, I think, sufficient pieces there. Can always add more. I'll set these aside for a second. And I've got a small canvas here, which I can definitely cover with paper. In fact, I've got this plaid paper here, which is really cute, but I don't know if that's going to be too much. Probably will be. So I might have to add a frame to this in white just to break that up. Which I have right here. Got some white paper, and what I'll do is cut a big frame there, and then I'll start my assembly. To make that frame, I've got several choices here. Let me see, which one do I want to go with? I think this isn't big enough. I'm going to grab one of my larger dies. I'm gonna see if maybe, let me see here, this one will work. I was thinking that's too small unless I use it more than once. Choices. Let me see. Sorry to walk away, but my room is big. So sometimes I have to do that to find my dies. I have this set here as well. It's got a pretty frame. So let's take a look at this. I think this would be really pretty here. So I think I'm going to use that. So it's got a nice stippling edge. this out using this larger die. Okay, got that. Got my little jug here. So, just going to use a pencil, go around the edge here. So I can cut this down. Be able to add this here as a base. And I'm looking around, well, I use my scissors to fray the edges. So give this a bit of a shabby chic look. And this I'm just going to use some clear tacky adhesive from Aleene's. I believe this thing, yep, Aleene's is how you pronounce that. See if I can get this out. There we go. Just like that. And if you're worried about bumps, you can also use a spatula or anything like that to spread out the adhesive. And as you can tell, I didn't prep this canvas the way that I would for paint, just because I was going to add glue to it. So it's up to you if you want to add gesso to this primarily. If you want it to peek out of the sides, that's not a bad idea, but I'll just probably add the gesso after. And use a baby wipe to clean that. These little tools always come in handy for that. Okay, now I'm going to add apply my paper, and I want that darker green toward the top. So I'm just going to put this down now and make sure my edges are covered. But like I said, I can always add gesso just to the edge there to shabby it up even more. And once I've got that, I can flip it over, and I do have a brayer. This type of tool can always come in handy for that, to apply even pressure. And then on the edges, make sure that sticks nicely. You see it lifting there, that means I didn't get enough glue. So I can always add more. Sadly, it doesn't travel too well. Oh my gosh, here we go. I'm going to be quite generous with it, as much as I can. What I don't want is buckling. But this is just an inexpensive, I believe even Dollar Tree, if I'm not mistaken, frame. So this is a super easy project. Do that. And of course, normally I would let this dry overnight before I proceed. But I have to actually be somewhere. So I'm going to do my best to do this on this video, and hopefully someone will watch it. Okay. Try that a little bit more there. Get a little bit of muscle there. Okay. So let's call that enough. I can introduce my frame here, which I can also ink, or I can leave it kind of clean and simple. I'm tempted to ink the edges of these, however, so let me see, where did I put my ink daubers? There they are. I think I might use some of this, let's see here. Place that there. Some of this, just residual. Actually, I probably don't want to use that color. I'm just going to use some of this. It's called potting soil. I think it's appropriate. Just to give it a little bit of a shadow. So that'll make it pop a little bit more there. And this bottom piece as well. So make it look a little bit rustic. And on the inside. Okay, just like that. And these, of course, will go here. just a little grouping of them. Gotta take the wire out of this one. Here we go. And then this would be the last one here. Kind of like that. And these can get some color as well. Okay, oops, have one more little one here, which you can also just leave on its own here in the corner. Okay, so I'm going to add some ink to these little pieces. And of course I'm trying to keep it in the same color palette of what I have here. Tea rose. Oopsie. There's that. that picked up some of the ink from the background that was on my table. So there we go. Now it's more rustic than I anticipated, but it actually looks good. So I'm going to leave it. This is going to layer on top of this, like so. I think it's so pretty. And now these little guys are going to be behind here, which is why I didn't mind the colors that just started coming or got on that white paper. So I'm going to just start putting these in here like so. Okay. Trying not to move these too much and just almost follow the shadow of these little plants to add the adhesive. One more little branch, just like so. And this little guy can go right on top. Okay, I think I want to add this little flower here on this corner. I'm using art glitter glue because this is quite strong adhesive also. So this is just going to go in this little corner. Just like that. Then on this side, I'm going to add this one grouping, which of course I want to stagger a bit because I've got the same size flowers, even though they're different colors. So I'm going to keep adding my glue. And of course you can, one thing I didn't mention is you can definitely shape the leaves by using a stylus. Or using a bone folder. You can curl the tips of those leaves if you want to. If you have double-sided paper, it looks even nicer, of course. But this is going to get quite a bit of glue here because I'm trying to also make sure that those wires that I used are nicely adhered now to the background, and I may have to use a dollop of hot glue just to make sure that stays right there. And then I'm going to use this smaller one here, and then I'll tuck in the other ones. Now make sure that little wire doesn't pop out. And take it right off. There we go. these I'll just tuck in using hot glue. It's looking like the little one's going to need it too, but I'm going to do these first. So I'm going to take the wire off of that one as well. There we go. I think I'm just going to add that one right in the middle. And then I'll put the little one on top. Just going to add this one little detail here, just like so. And as you can tell, I did add a tiny bit of ink there just to give it a little bit of shadow. And I can add another one. The ink first. And of course, this comes with a bunch of little labels that I now can use as well. If I want to add a sentiment to this jar, I can do so, or I can add it to the bottom here. I can keep adding laces if I want to go in that direction, which I'm not quite sure yet. But I do think I'm going to finish this up with some gesso and just add a bit more texture. I'm not going to do it in this excuse me, live video because I've been standing here for I think 2 hours now. And aside from Joanna, who again I apologize to because I didn't see her in the chat, I've not had anyone else chatting or commenting. So I'm going to end my video here. I hope that this is of inspiration to you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And of course, you can pick up this collection here that I've used to make the jug and the little plants here. You can definitely pick that up from Tonic Studios right now. You can use my link. It'll be in the link tree of the description box of this video. I think it's an absolutely adorable collection, and it definitely comes with a whole lot more items that I didn't even share, like the spatula, the whisk, the rolling pin. There's an arrow, little leaf, 2 different types of labels, flowers of all sorts here. even a little lemon. So there's so much that you can do with it. Of course, I wanted to use it in conjunction with these adorable tulips that I had been playing around with. But there's, I mean, the possibilities are endless when it comes to crafting. You do whatever you like. I'm really happy with it. And again, if you like the content of my videos, I welcome you to come back to any other of my live videos or the previous ones that or the ones that are previously recorded. But as I always say, I do appreciate any feedback, and I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed and have a wonderful Friday. Bye-bye.